Hi, I'm Joe Grody. I was in 4-H growing up and had a great time. Still have a lot of friends that I met through there that I'm still really close with. My love of livestock and agriculture definitely grew through those experiences. Even though our operation has changed over the years, the livestock part of it has always been a big part of what we do, and it's changed and really adapted in the years after 4-H, and a lot of that is because of the things I learned and the experiences I had in that time. Memories I have, spending the day down at for the pig shows on Friday. I always was down there. I remember me and Matt Purvis would always help get the pigs out of the pen because we were the smallest ones to be able to get under the bars on the gates. Just spending time down there with other people in 4-H club. The shows are always fun and memorable, especially probably when we were younger clover buds. Especially, it's always kind of fun being around there. Man. And then just like different experiences that we had, if you get a chance to go to the state fair, those things can be really, really fun and get to meet a lot of people from around the state. Things, that I remember, like riding me and Matt and a couple other kids would go ride rides in between, when we were down there checking our pigs or whatever we did. I showed pheasants in 4-H, and I was like the only one. I did show pheasants in 4-H. I think I was the only one most of the years to do that. So sometimes I'd get the champion and the reserve champion because there's just nobody else. But it was fun, and that was really cool too because that was something I was doing at the time, was trying to raise pheasants, and so that was really fun. I really enjoyed the pheasant thing just because it was different, and kind of learning a little bit more about that. That was good. Growing up with my sisters showing rabbits, having like baby rabbits around was fun when I was a kid. That was fun. I'm trying to think. There's a lot of good memories. I really enjoyed my time. My advice would be just get involved. Go to meetings, go to whatever. There's always a way to get involved, even if it's not with animals or anything. There's so many things that you can do, and it's another avenue to get involved and be a part of a community, and that's what makes life fun a lot of times. So just get involved and find a way that you can be active in your farming. Is not like a job or an occupation in a lot of senses. It's kind of a way of life, and so I think that's even been more evident since starting a family and having the kids around the farm and getting to see them grow up around it and be comfortable around animals and different things like that. So that part of it is definitely grown. And then, with 4-H, you're kind of in 4-H and then you grow a little bit and you might leave it for a little while. And then when you have kids and they start getting older, then you kind of start thinking about it again and remembering some of those times. So it's kind of coming around again for me here now as the kids start to get in closer to school age and things like that. So it's kind of exciting to see that happen. Growing up, we always had a few cattle around and we always had a lot of hogs, and as the operation changed, we still have hogs, but we also were able to expand into the beef side of things and tapped on a lot of resources of people that we know in the 4-H, from 4-H, that were in the beef industry, and so we were able to kind of learn a lot. And over the last 10-12 years, my wife and I have been able to start a beef business, Big Woods Beef, and really try to expand the farm to table, direct to consumer beef market. So it's been a really good thing for our farm here in the last 5 years ish, and it's been fun, and it's something that we really look forward to continuing doing.
4-H to me is family, it's friends, it's everything. I've been in 4-H since kindergarten, and I have met my best friends, I have met family, I have met so many people, I've had so many wonderful experiences. I truly love the community, I love the environment, everybody here is amazing, and seeing the little kids grow up just holds a special place in my heart because I knew I was once them, and just being able to see everybody grow up and become just who they are is amazing, and I'm so happy I get to have an impact in other kids' lives because other people have made an impact in my life. I don't even know. There's just so much. It's impacted my personality and the way I go after things. It's definitely helped me grow as a person. It's brought me out of my shell. It's done so much for me, and I'm beyond grateful that I've had this opportunity, and this is something that I want to share with everybody. And hopefully I've made a difference for other people too.
Hi, my name is Marin Blake, and my parents are Chris and Marcia Peterson.
My name is Megan Culhane. My parents are Brian and Mary Peterson. Grew up in Northfield and was a member of the Big Giants 4-H Club for 12 years.
John Peterson. My parents are Brian and Mary, and I was in the Big Giants 4-H Club as well for 11 years.
I'm Becca Peterson. My parents are Brian and Mary Peterson, and I was a member of the Big Giants 4-H Club for 12 years.
My name is Brian Peterson. You've seen my kids here, but I was a member a long time ago, back in the late 60s and 70s, and I don't remember how many years I was a 4-H'er, but I was a member of the Big Giants also.
I'm Bruce Peterson. I'm Brian's brother. I was also in Big Giants 4-H Club, I think, 10 or 11 years, somewhere in there. And both my boys, Andrew and Sam, were also in the Big Giants.
And I'm Mary Peterson. My people are back here. I was not a 4-H'er. I grew up in Dakota County, but I was my kids' adult leader for probably 10 years for the Big Giants. This is the next generation Big Giants. Riley belongs to Megan. And a future 4-H'er, Mila, belongs to Megan. And here's Ren, future 4-H'er, belongs to John. And then Martin's little guy, Brody.
And then I have two nephews, Tanner and Theo, who belong to my brother Tyler. So Tyler and I were both in 4-H, and Tanner is a Cloverfoot this year.
Oh, this is Sogan, Sam's son, my grandson.
For us Petersons, we have had now 4 generations involved in Rice County 4-H. All members of the Big Giants, or formerly the Big Stars 4-H Club. Started with my grandpa, Bert. And Sloan is very excited to be a future 4-H'er as well. For us, I just remember summer leading up to and during the fair was always a full family effort, getting livestock ready to show, carpooling down to the fairgrounds early mornings, back home late at night. So those are some of my fondest memories with my cousins, was getting to show with them at the Rice County Fair each summer, which was always the hottest week of the summer, like without fail.
I would say what I remember most, I don't think I had any state fair trips, but I remember I was chaperone to Beck when she would go to the state fair and show goats that she had leased from a local farmer, and how they could stand being in that sheep barn all day, because these sheep or goats would be it's like they must tone it out, but I just remember how used to hear it. And I would just go wander around the fairgrounds and come back and check in with them for a while, and I just thought that was the goats, you'd swear they're almost talking human English, but anyway, that's my one fond memory.
And I can safely say I probably wouldn't be here if it wasn't for 4-H or the Rice County Fair. My mom and dad, Chris and Marcia, actually met 48 years ago at the Rice County Fair. They were both 4-H'ers. My dad was a Big Giant, my mom was a Happy Hustler, and yeah, interesting club names, look on that. But they were both showing cows, and my mom pretended like she knew the helper, and that's how they met, and they've been together ever since. So I took pigs, and my favorite memories are definitely state fair trips, and I've met a lot of people who are now lifelong friends. Met them through 4-H, so showing pigs was always a highlight of my summer, and I really enjoyed learning about the animal project itself, and it taught me a lot of discipline, hard work, responsibility, and definitely had a lot of fun.
I think we're all excited as the Peterson family for this Rice County Fair. We have Riley and Tanner who will be showing pigs for the first time. So they are carrying on that legacy, so I know we're all excited to go to the Rice County Fair and cheer them on at this year's big show.
You know, the fair was always the highlight of the summer, because like Becca said earlier, you work on your projects, get your livestock ready, go to the fair, but that's kind of your vacation almost for the week, and go up there and eat junk food all week and show your animals and show your projects. That was always a fun time in the summer for myself.
The same thing was always fun. I mean, you guys had probably better intentions to maybe work with the pigs a little more leading up to the fair. So sometimes it was a little wild.
It just made things more interesting.
Sometimes it's a little wild and show ring, but it was always fun for that week. I mean, you get up early, go down to the fair, with your friends, go on rides. That kind of changed, I guess, as we got older. They had a water park across the street, so like they said, it was always the hottest week of the summer, so we'd usually sneak over to the water park one day and hang out, cool off, and then just seeing your hard work and how you compete against the other competition, I guess for livestock was always fun. So.
Not to toot my own horn, but I was pretty excited to win swine interview at the state fair for 2 separate years, which I mean, I really think it was just a lot of BS on my end, like not really knowing the answers to things, but being confident in your answers and knowledge of your project, I think really helped, and that was one of my favorite memories or accomplishments, I think, through 4-H.
I know many of us also got involved with the Rice County 4-H Ambassador Program, kind of in our later years. I know one of our highlights was always getting to do the daycare tours on daycare day, getting to let the kids know kind of what was going on, telling them fun facts about the different farm animals. I'm sure we can all think of a couple funny one-liners or comments we heard from the kids. I think probably a favorite of mine was walking through the pig barn and a kid said, "Wow, that's the biggest rabbit I've ever seen." So had to educate him a little bit, but that was always a highlight as well, getting to teach the next generation about where the food comes from.
Yeah, the county fair was always fun, getting competing against the other people. I showed primarily dairy, I also showed pigs, and then also was fortunate to make a few trips to the state fair, and a lot of it I never really placed that well at state fair showing, but it was, a couple of years, the one year, I think 2 years, we won herdsmanship, so that always placed you up closer to the show arena, and you were also the first group of cattle as people came into the dairy barn from the east. If you placed first in showmanship, you got to move up closer to the show arena. So that was kind of a thing that we always strived for, was to do well at showmanship at the state fair, so yeah, a lot of good memories. So
My favorite 4-H memory actually was when I was older and we did the outstate exchange. I wasn't much for leaving home, but my senior year of high school, we went to Pennsylvania and were there for a week, and just kind of getting to experience a different state and how they do things, and then they came here, vice versa. That was probably one of my favorite memories. 4-H, not animal related.
We went to Home, Pennsylvania. So Megan said she didn't like leaving home. Well, we went to Home. Yeah. So there you go. John and I participated in a couple exchange programs as well. We did a group with Missouri as well as Colorado, and I'm still in touch with some kids that we met out in Colorado as well as Pennsylvania. John, where else did you guys went out east one year, didn't you?
Down in Arkansas.
Yeah, we went to Arkansas, and then Arkansas and Colorado were both the out-of-state ones I got to participate on. I obviously was here when the Missouri kids came up, so I met them a little bit. And the Arkansas one was definitely just a lot different for like what they showed at their county fair, kind of a just lifestyle. I know when we went to Colorado, they were obsessed with gas station breakfast burritos, which I thought was a little odd. But it was just, I don't know, it was different. Like we went to the sand dunes in Colorado, and I never would have thought that there were sand dunes in Colorado because I've been up there skiing. So just different things that we got to experience, and like Becca said, definitely the friendships that were built or formed, I guess. So.
And I'll add, when we did the Pennsylvania trip, Diane Horman at the time was the leader of the 4-H exchange program for Rice County. And her and Dwayne had the idea that we were going to drive to Pennsylvania, but not just drive to Pennsylvania. We were gonna go up through Canada to Niagara Falls and then drive down to Pennsylvania. So bless Diane and Dwayne, who were in one van, we did ridiculous amounts of fundraising. My mother and Rochelle Boltman drove the other van, and I think we had, 12 or 14 kids total, and put on a lot of miles. That was a very long trip, but I know it's one that we'll never forget being a part of. So quite the road trip. Very brave of you, Mother.
Yes, because I don't drive.
Anymore. Is that?
We can share that tidbit now. Advice for younger 4-Hers, I did my entire 4-H career with never showing animals. So you don't have to show animals if you're not into that. And you can still win big prizes and go to the state fair and all the things. So if you're not an animal lover, you don't need to do animals.
I guess I would add with that, don't be afraid to get out of your comfort zone a little bit. I know when I was a 4-H ambassador, like the daycare tours, I was pretty leery or scared about that at first, but once you get a couple of them under your belt, it's pretty easy, and the kids are there to kind of have as much fun as you are, I guess, teaching them about all the different things there are to do and all the different animals at the fair, so.
Bruce, any wisdom to bestow?
Well, yeah, kind of like what John said. Maybe get out of your comfort zone a little bit. I think it'll help you down the road. Becca, she's not afraid to talk. Maybe 4-H had something to do with that. But as you graduate on to life, when you're done with 4-H, it's going to help you in your career if you're able to speak in front of a group. If you're comfortable doing that, there's a lot of people that they're afraid to get up and talk in front of a group, and that's it's a good skill to have, and that starts out not only in school but also in 4-H. You get a lot of opportunities to do that and just make yourself more comfortable, and that can lead you through the rest of your life, making you more comfortable in different situations.
I would say one thing that I did learn through 4-H and FFA is parliamentary procedure, which I think has helped me as life has gone on, being involved in different boards and whatnot, being able to run meetings. I think that's very important. There's a lot of people I see that, they're kind of clueless, but not that I'm a parliamentarian by any means, but at least I know the general ways that meetings should be run and voting on things and asking for discussion and passing things through. So I think that's a good thing, and don't be afraid to learn that, because it's a life skill that will stay with you your whole life and hopefully can be used. So
I would say too, for the younger generation, to just soak it all in. It really does go by really fast. I know 12 years seems like a long time, but it feels like forever ago already. So I would just say soak it all up, make friends that last a lifetime. I know all of us still have friends in 4-H. I know coworkers that I was in 4-H with, and it's still fun to connect with them and share those memories. I know Bruce mentioned, taking in the interview practice that you get as a 4-Her. Maren mentioned she did very well with interviews at the state level. My brag moment is I got to place first interview for goat and pig 2 years, and I continue to use those skills into my career today. I will say another favorite memory. In 2002 was the 100-year anniversary of 4-H, not in Rice County, but the 4-H program. And so Big Giants did a kind of Oscar-themed Share the Fun skit, which we used to do. Different clubs would compete in creating a skit or a play. And we won that year, so then we got to go perform it at the state level, which was super fun. And John and Megan both look at me like, what are you talking about?
I do remember that. I don't remember that specifically, but I remember the Share the Fun coming up with different skits to compete against the other clubs in the county, which was pretty fun.
Yep. So remember another year we did like a Family Feud skit theme, and we did the Oscar. I can't remember what the other ones were, but just lots of opportunities to do things that you already enjoy and find things that you may not think of participating in.
record keeping, we had to do our 4-H records, certainly showing livestock, showing your feed costs, what your animal costs, did you make any money at it? That's key in being successful in life today, is you've got to make a buck here and there to pay the bills. So I think that's a good one, I guess, that we carry on farming here. You know, records is a huge part of it, knowing what your costs are and knowing where a profit can be made. So I think that's vital, I guess. I remember, like I say, filling out the 4-H records. It's usually the night before you went to show, but you put those numbers together and put them down and see where you're at. So.
I made lots of new friends in 4-H.
My name is Willard Tripp. We are members of Rice County here. We lived in Rice County all of our lives and moved to this farm in 1944. I joined 4-H in 1949, and I have with me my wife Carmen, who was also a 4-H member in the county, and our two of our daughters, Tiffany and Tara. And we also have two other daughters, Tracy and Tamara, who live out of state.
I was a 4-H member like Willard, joining in the 50s, and I was a member of the Richlanders 4-H Club, and I showed basically chickens and gardening and flowers, but I also was much into sewing and foods. And I guess I would say one of the accomplishments that 4-H gave me was my leadership skills. I have always, I was a leader in both our club, even after we were married. And I think, Willard, you did talk about us meeting through 4-H. And, but I think that the leadership skills were one of my biggest accomplishments.
You know, 4-H was just a very broad thing, and it just brought so many different experiences and things, and I think the one thing that I really got from it was just the experience and variety to try different things. I did baking, and I showed cows and goats and photography, which I still do that today. I still bake a lot too, so I think just my love of trying new things.
How has 4-H impacted my life? I would say it opened up from a young age, it opened up opportunities. One of my fondest memories of 4-H was being able to travel through the exchange program, and I started doing that when I was in 7th grade and traveled with another 4-H leader and other 4-Hers, and that became one of my favorite things about 4-H, and I had the travel bug for a really long time.
You guys? Part of my 4-H life was leadership. We were members of like a junior leadership in 4-H. We had a Gold Key Club that after 4-H age, as far as that goes, which was at that time was up to 21, and we did a lot of social things, but we kept together with the 4-H members from our county. One of the things that I think I've learned from 4-H was actually working together with people. It's helped me actually in a lot of committees and vocational type committees and promotion councils, things like that I've worked on. Ultimately led me to being a national alumni winner, which was one of those things that when you get to meet Al Gore and Orville Redenbacher and a few people like that. It was in Chicago, and that was a high point of my 4-H life.
And I already had alluded to the fact of leadership. I mean, I went on to be a teacher, and I think just all that, having to get up in front of people with doing the public speaking contests that I was in, all the demonstrations I did throughout my 4-H career, and helped my daughters do. I think that was always something that made it easy for me to be able to be in charge of a classroom, but not only a classroom, but I've also been president of many organizations.
Gosh, one of, I think, my biggest accomplishments with 4-H is kind of like Mom said, with the leadership. And just the ability to do that different public speaking. I took away from 4-H though too was volunteerism, and just helping around the community and doing different, projects, cleaning up things. And with that has, brought me into my life that I am now, and I'm on the chamber board here in town. A year ago, I was the Chamber Volunteer of the Year. So I think just with 4-H, you learn to help others and just volunteer. Most fondest memory was the exchange groups that we did. I was able to travel to Kansas, and I am still lifelong friends with my friend Lori. I've been to her wedding. We've traded Christmas cards for years, and just all those friendships. I was also on the one and only Minnesota-Mexico exchange, and again, with the technology now, I was able to reconnect with about 3 or 4 of them via Facebook. And actually this past year, I almost got to meet one of the girls in Mazatlan when we were on vacation, but it didn't work out. But what are the odds that you're in a different country and you maybe can meet up with someone that you met back in 1992 and through a 4-H group. And I'm still great friends with a few of the other members that went on that exchange.
My fondest memory, that's a toss-up. Playing euchre in the barns. Definitely the travel programs, going to the exchange programs, going to Kansas. We went to a really small town. I remember eating chocolate chip cheesecake and sweet iced tea for the first time when I was like 13. And traveling out east to Pennsylvania. Really probably one of the fondest memories I have though was going to Washington, D.C. I think it was called the Citizenship Program, or traveled with Carrie, Bill, Pat, and we all just became really good friends during that trip.
One of my fondest memories was as far as getting together with the whole group and playing softball every year. The county had a tournament. A couple of years we did really good. Even one time we played the best team from Dakota County. I won't tell you who won, but we tried. But otherwise, no, going to the county fair was always an exciting moment, exhibiting your projects and just seeing what you would get. One of my fondest memories as far as an adult leader was being on the state 4-H dairy committee, and that was a time when we discussed the Lisa Calf program, which I believe that program is still in effect. That was what I think was quite an accomplishment.
I think as we talked about was the fact that going to, not only the county fair, but my state fair trip. I was in dress review and I was in foods, and I got to take the state fair. And from the state fair, I also was able to meet enough people, and later on was able to be a counselor at the Farm Boys Camp, which was at the very top of the fairgrounds at the very north end. And I did that for up until the time we were married, and I think it was, so I did the 10 days at the state fair and got to connect with all the 4-H kids again and be there all of those days. I did it for I think 5 years. So that was one of my big things that I felt was an accomplishment, and also was the idea of also meeting my husband, and because our family, to be a 4-H family. Willard and I were leaders even before we had children. We were leaders in the Kansas City Cardinal Club here in our area here. So I think that's another thing that has really been what I take back from being in 4-H.
One of the impacts that I know happened to us or to our family, I remember 2 of our daughters interviewed for jobs, and they mentioned that they were 4-H members. And it's just amazing how people think of us. as far as people that had never been 4-H members, but when they hear that you had been a 4-H member, especially in the Midwest, why, it's a terrific thing to have belonged to.
I think 4-H for me brings everybody together. To be in a 4-H group, no matter where you are, state, national, local, it brings everyone together, and it teaches you about, as one of my daughters said, the variety of things that you can do or try. It gives you a chance to try the different things. And so I think that whole broad thing of being into 4-H gives you a chance to be with other people of other nationalities, to travel, whichever you decide to do.
To people that are interested in 4-H or that are just getting started, try new things. There's a lot of different programs and activities that people can participate in, and don't be shy. Meet people. I think going back to one of the things that I really cherished about 4-H was that I had friends from other towns, not just from school.
You know, I'm gonna agree with my family on that whole try new experiences, try new things. You know, I wasn't as big into the animals projects as my two of my sisters. I did more of the photography, more of the baking. I tried sewing with the help of my grandma, and I was okay. But you know, I agree, the friendships that you make, I am still really good friends with a lot of the people that, you know, we met through 4-H. My sister and I have some of the same friends, and we love to meet up at the fair every year and, you know, see each other. And I think that's something that you can always take with you, is to have a lifelong friendship.
I enjoyed my time in 4-H. I was really happy our kids got to be in 4-H. They learned so much. We met so many people. We were involved in a lot of county things. Andy's gone to state, he's gone to nationals. And it's really nice to see his kids now in 4-H, so they can experience some of the things that Andy had.
Yeah, I would say that the biggest thing is the legacy, the impact that it's had over the years, because like she said, she started it, and then I got out of it for a while after I graduated, but to come back and now get my kids involved in it and remember all the opportunities that 4-H offered to me as a kid in the program, and now seeing these guys get to have those same opportunities and be able to grow from them, and just it's a great opportunity for it.
Mm-hmm. I made new friends, and we got to do more activities than what we used to do, and go to Camp Victory.
Our biggest accomplishment in 4-H is probably getting to state fair for Quiz Bowl last year and getting second place after we won a game, and then it was down to 10 points, and that's what decided who won.
Probably the biggest accomplishment of being a 4-Her for me was the amount of involvement that allowed me to really expand my connections with people, as my mom had said earlier, not just within Rice County, but across the state. I got to participate in a lot of events with other kids from the Poultry Project all across the state of Minnesota, to a point that allowed me to even expand that to across the country when we participated in the national poultry judging competition in Louisville, Kentucky, getting an opportunity to meet kids from all across the entire country. Again, then also that led to an opportunity where I got to do a demonstration where my mom and a gal named Miss Julie Fox got to help me put together this awesome presentation that then got me an award and allowed me to take that and go to the National Cub Congress and spend a week hanging out with kids from all across the country, talking 4-H and all the different things that we have had the opportunity to participate in. So it's those giant accomplishments, but they don't happen without lots of work, and so you learn a lot of work ethic as well in the process of being involved in 4-H.
And your exchanges. I mean, you learn so much.
Exchange trips, getting to learn about other areas across the, we got the opportunity to go to Kansas and Texas and Pennsylvania and Canada for 2 weeks. That was fabulous. Haven't been back there since, but sure do have it on my list of places to go because of that one trip and all the fabulous things I'd like to see my kids be able to be involved in.
Some of my favorite memories from 4-H were going to camp and getting reserve champion for my ducks and getting champion for shooting sports.
Our fun memory was Fair Week. My husband took off work. We lived at the fairgrounds. Our kids had the poultry, and we spent time with other families, and Fair Week was just the ultimate. We had so much fun.
Oh, come on. Wasn't it more fun going to the state fair and getting up there at like 5 o'clock in the morning so we could load the animals in for the fair? I know there are so many great memories, and it's hard to just pick one, but I think probably one of my favorites is a poultry workshop that we would do up in northern Minnesota, and it would bring across people from all across the state, and it was one of those opportunities where I got to meet a lot of people in that project, and we would just sit and we'd talk poultry stuff and really just get to be friends, and to this day I still have friends from that I run into every now and then, and it's a fabulous opportunity to reminisce about the old days and how much fun we had at that camp when we'd go to it.
My favorite memories are having good times with friends and family at county fair and state fair, and being able to go and do really nice stuff at camps.
You should join 4-H because it's really fun. You get to learn about a lot of stuff. It's like school, but you get to choose what you learn. You get to meet a lot of new friends and learn a lot of stuff.
4-H has helped me be more comfortable in front of people, talking in front of people. What I'm talking about, I can probably talk for quite a while. It's just made me more able to talk to other people and not afraid to go meet new people.
It's helped me make new friends, speak louder when I'm around other people, and made me want to do more things.
It's made you confident in yourself, isn't it?
4-H has made me the person I am today by helping me through whatever I need. There's always someone to turn to, whether that be a leader, a friend, someone who's just there to help. It has helped me by being more confident and learning about a lot of new things.
If there's one thing 4-H will teach you, it'll teach you the ability to just wing it. Be able to fly off the seat of your pants and make things happen, because you never know when you have to be able to be spontaneous, to make the right call and do something to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to succeed.
My name is Allison Fritz, formerly Allison Vikla. This is Steve Vikla, my dad. Trevor Fritz, my oldest son, he's 10, and this is Colton Fritz, my youngest, he is 7. And we are all part of Wheatland Wheaties 4-H Club.
Oh, it's made it busier over the years. I mean, it was a lot of fun. I mean, it was always the pressure to get ready for the fair, get the records done, get here on time, all that. But I guess it made the family kind of stick together. We worked together, get everything done.
Yeah, I bounce that, go off of that as well. It's not only just like me helping my kids. My dad is helping me with my kids, just like my grandma helped us when we were younger. So it's not just parents helping kids, it's a multi-generational effort on getting these projects done and these experiences we all get to have. It's a friendly family competition. I think last year we had, it was like 170 projects.
Something like that, yeah.
In open class. That's not counting any of our 4-H projects. How many projects did you bring last year? 24, 25 projects on YouTube, right? You remember? I think it was like 12 or 15. Too many. The fair is like the highlight of your 4-H year. All the club activities that we did, our club was really active. I know, like our club tour was always fun. We always seemed to get into trouble at the end of the club tour. You know, when it's the luncheon, we always seem to get in trouble. Just like these guys always seem to get in trouble now too.
I think the fair, of course, softball, we used to have softball between each club had their own team, and that was fun. That was a fun deal. Even working in the food stand, it was fun. I mean, it was work, but it was fun. And
What's your favorite memory so far?
The first year doing poultry, second, and getting lots of champion and reserve.
You can't have a good project or good product if you wait till the last minute. How about you?
That you need to learn patience to get stuff done, and it takes time to do stuff like baking, doing different projects, and doing fair judging, and a whole bunch of different stuff.
try to do everything that you're interested in, and then try something that you've never done, just for the experience of doing it. You may like it. It broadens your horizons. You know, I know I started basically, it was ag, and the ag part of it, the corn and soybean showing and that stuff, and then I kind of branched into foods a little bit. Just tried it, you know, the demonstration, that too, and doing those demonstrations that would give you public speaking talk and stuff. So that anything like that, it was fun.
Yeah, that's exactly. Try something, because you don't know if you're gonna like it if you don't try it. And 4-H has so many opportunities when you get older, especially. There's all these trips you can go on. There's exchange. You can go on really cool adventures through 4-H.
And do your best during, like, if you can't overcome something, just look at the bigger picture of the project.
Big accomplishment was going to the state fair and exhibiting there, and then you learned above the county fair, you learned the different levels at the state fair, the different judging aspects of it and what they were looking for there versus here at the county fair, you know, and that made a big difference. The in-person judging, when I first started 4-H, we didn't have in-person judging. We just took the project and left it and came back. With in-person judging, at least the judge could tell that you knew the project, that you did the project, and you know, and the reasoning behind some of the stuff there. That seemed to be one of the things I felt was good.
Yeah, that's exactly. Try something, because you don't know if you're gonna like it if you don't try it. And 4-H has so many opportunities when you get older, especially. There's all these trips you can go on. There's exchange. You can go on really cool adventures through 4-H. Like my biggest accomplishment, I received one of those elusive purples at the state fair throughout all my years of 4-H, and it was really, really hard to get that purple, because I knew you have to know exactly what you're talking about. You have to know like every detail you're talking about, and having that knowledge about your project. At least when I was going to state fair, it was like a conference judge. So you were there learning with all these other members, and you might not necessarily only have like a wildlife project. It might be wildlife with, you know, maybe fishing, you know, kind of similar projects, but not your exact project area. And you learn a lot. And if you sit through those and you listen to somebody that knows what they're talking about, you just kind of look like, wow, they did really good. They know their project. So having that experience and getting that elusive purple, because they don't just hand them out to everybody up there.
that was probably my biggest accomplishment in 4-H.
That my first year in regular 4-H, two dog and my poultry poster went to stay in blue first year. That was the biggest accomplishment for first year.
I'm Rosie Purfist, and I'm here today, and I've got all these kids, 4 generations. So long ago when I first started, you know, the kids.
Look over there.
But anyway, it meant a lot to them and me.
Our family has been involved with 4-H for a long time. Rosie here, who's almost 95 years old, started this with our 4 generations of Purfases. I myself was never a 4-H'er, however, I was a club leader. We belonged to the Big Woods 4-H Club, and all 3 of our kids were involved with 4-H, and it was a great experience, in my opinion, for our kids. They were very involved with projects, and all 3 of them were state 4-H ambassadors. They met lots of friends throughout the state of Minnesota, had a lot of fun, maybe got in a little trouble at the fair sometimes, but it was all good times. I would highly recommend 4-H to anybody. Just leadership skills, just a lot of learning that happens, so it's been great. And Misty here is our oldest, so why don't you talk a little bit about what you were involved with?
Sure. Mostly I did beef cattle and hogs, and then photography, indoor gardening, but my favorite was the state ambassador, the dances and the clubs and just the things that we did, and then livestock judging was pretty incredible as well. We got to travel to Europe and just had a lot of fun experiences. The other thing I really liked was the 4-H exchange. We went to Kansas and I got to stay with a host family, which was really, really cool.
It kept them out of trouble, for one thing, and they learned a lot. Kept them busy.
I met my beautiful wife in 4-H way back when we were in high school. I was involved with the beef project, the hog or swine project, and probably my most memorable part was helping with livestock judging, both being a member of the livestock judging team and then coaching the livestock judging team for about 10 years. We had a lot of good experiences and helped a lot of different kids through the program, and a lot of them are still active in livestock and livestock judging, and actually some of the kids I coach are the coaches now, so it just keeps getting passed forward. So that was my most memorable experiences.
I'm Amy Nordstrom. I am the great aunt of most of these here. I was a 4-H'er decades ago. Rabbits, clothing, hogs, cattle 1 year until the cows drug me across the ring. Pigs, my main function was horses. I think the biggest thing for 4-H with me, it teaches you the determination to get out there and continue and strive to learn. But it's also a great experience to meet new people, new friends. Our youngest son was eligible to be a 4-H'er through the Rice County program as well. And I think it was one of the experiences that he had that he would cherish for life as part of the cattle program. It was a great experience.
So I grew up in 4-H in Dakota County, and then as Mark said, we met when we were in 4-H. We showed cattle against each other at the Minnesota State Fair, and now it's just great that my kids are involved in 4-H too. Leo is in his 3rd county fair where we get to do the whole experience, and I just remember thinking, like, the first county fair I had a little baby on my hip, and I was like, man, I'm gonna be doing this forever, and it's gonna be awesome, and we're gonna be at the county fair for so long. But in general, yeah, we love the experience. We love the friends that our kids get to make, and I was reminded that just when our kids went to their first county fair and showed cows, the kids in 4-H are so nice. Like, they're so nice to our little kids, our young 4-H'ers. So it's just great to have that, like, those role models for our kids as they're younger, but growing up in the 4-H experience.
Getting a mouse.
Getting a malt?
At the fair, yeah.
I like meeting new friends and getting to show cows in the Rice County Fair. So last year, me and my team, we won the grilling contest at the county fair, and we got some prizes.
And so we also have 4 little ones here who are going to be future 4-H'ers in Rice County. So we're pretty excited for all the fun that's coming in the future for them.
Actually, my favorite memory was probably when I was a state ambi, and we somehow went out of a window in the 4-H building at the state fairgrounds and onto part of the roof. And I don't know what we did out there, I don't remember, but it was kind of a fun little adventure. We didn't cause any trouble or anything, but innocent fun to have.
And it's funny how Mom never heard about that. That must have been a secret. That's probably my favorite memory of 4-H is the kids all going to the state fair, and I think they had an awful lot of fun at the state fair. Some we heard about, some we didn't. And I chaperoned for a few years at the state fair. That was always fun to have a group of, it must have been a secret. That's probably my favorite memory of 4-H is the kids all going.
Our livestock judging team was lucky enough to win the National 4-H Livestock Judging Contest in Louisville, Kentucky. So we got to go to Scotland, and we went to, it was about, if I remember right, like 8 to 9 different countries, and spent a couple weeks over in Europe traveling around and touring agriculture. So that was a lot of memories made, and it's fun to look back and reminisce about those days. My advice would be get involved at the local level first. Get involved with your club, get involved with the county, do the events that are organized and available to you, because you'll build connections all throughout the county, and you'll run into those folks for the rest of your life if you're a Rice County resident.
Going to camp was like the best thing, and I think Rice County, I've been watching, they just had camp this week, and I think overnight camp for 4-H kids, it's just the coolest thing, and doing that is just such a great way to like make like really deep connections with people across the county, and I think that's an awesome thing that they get to do.
One of the other cool things we were able to do as a family is Amy talked about her son was able to participate in Rice County 4-H even though he lived in the metro area, but it was an opportunity for him to learn a lot more about agriculture and beef cattle. And then we also had a good friend who lived in Faribault who did not have an opportunity to know what it was like to live on a farm or be involved with cattle, and so the kids became very good friends with Tar. He became a very great family friend, and he was able to show cattle when he was in high school, and he learned how to do livestock judging, and he has had a very successful run with college and being involved coaching. So it was an opportunity really to see him develop a lot of leadership skills and just personal development. So that was really cool too.
I was never in 4-H, but when my kids were all getting ready to bring their projects to the fair, I had made a cake and I cut a big square out of it and I says, here, take this to the fair, enter it just for the heck of it. And would you believe I got grand champion on that?
In open class. Rosie is pretty
that
proud
was
of that.
open class, but that was my thrill of 4-H, and you know, besides having my kids win.
It's fun and don't give up.
So 4-H was a huge part of our family growing up. You know, all summers really spent showing cattle, showing hogs once in a while too. A lot of time spent at county fairs, not only Rice County, but a lot of surrounding fairs and state fair. So a lot of summers and winters were spent in 4-H and 4-H clubs and multiple leadership positions. So it's been very impactful for our family and for myself personally.
I think 4-H gives the kids a chance to excel as far as they want to go. I'm very proud of the fact that all 3 of our kids were state ambassadors, which not every kid gets to do that, but they did well. And there was a lot of mornings, you know, you're up early taking care of your animals, and you take care of them through the day, and you take them out at night. And I would encourage anybody to be in the 4-H program. It's just not about living on the farm anymore. It's turned into a whole different group of projects that you can exhibit or excel in if you'd like. It's a great opportunity to work with other kids, and you're not always going to win, and that's part of life. You know, some days you're on top, and other days you're sitting there close to the bottom or on the bottom, and you got to take the good with the bad on a lot of these projects. But what you can learn by doing these projects, to me, is just valuable lessons that you learn throughout or use throughout your life. Get back what you put into some of these projects, and it teaches the kids good work ethic.
Dad hit the nail right on the head, essentially, where you don't have to be from a farm to be participating in 4-H. You know, there's a lot of general projects, and if you do want to show livestock and you're not on a farm, I would say, you know, the leasing opportunities through beef or paradise and pork for hogs. There's a lot of opportunities to get involved in agriculture, and you know, we had a kid growing up, Tar Tut, who was a city kid who all of a sudden started showing cows with us, and now he's on the general livestock judging teams for Texas A&M, and very successful kid. So I just say get involved. You know, 4-H is a group of people that really want to see you succeed, so just feel free to reach out to anybody. I think anybody would help, really any new family looking to get involved.
I'm Reen Kester, and when I was a kid we were in Big Giants 4-H Club.
And I'm Rachel Kester Johnson. I also grew up in the Big Giants 4-H Club in the 1990s.
I'm Gunnar Johnson. I'm in the Big Giants 4-H Club.
I'm Anton Johnson. I'm in the Big Giants 4-H Club.
I'm Ivory Johnson. I'm in the Big Giants 4-H Club.
When we were kids, it was a big part of the year because we had beef projects, and there was conservation projects and pigs that we had, so there's a lot of work all year round taking care of the animals and getting ready to show. And then we had the meetings and stuff where you got to know other kids and learned how to work together with people. And there's things like junior leadership where you tried to help.
For me, growing up in 4-H, it's been a big part of my life, and today I'm actually the club leader for the Big Giants 4-H Club. But growing up, I was involved in a lot of different activities, not only with the projects that I brought to the county fair and the livestock and general projects, but also had the opportunity to go to camp and also participate in the Outstate Exchange Program, where we got to travel to another state, or in my case, we got to travel to Canada and then to Oklahoma and exchange and meet other 4-Hers from across the country. So just a variety of opportunities, as well as all the leadership roles and positions that are available. And so it was important to me as an adult and for my children to be able to have some of those same experiences that I had as a kid.
So learning how to work with different animals, learning how to just kind of get along with people, get along with animals.
I like when we go to the meetings and snacks and we get to meet new friends. It is really fun.
My favorite memories is probably going to the state fair the past 3 years, showing goats up there. Also, when I was younger, kind of my first years in 4-H, the meetings.
For me, one of my favorite stories to tell is from when I was a kid. And so I have a younger sister who is 3 years younger than me, and I remember going to the 4-H meetings, and I remember being a very embarrassed older sister because she was very quiet. She would hang on my mom's side and pull on her purse and wouldn't leave her side. She would hide behind her leg. And so my favorite part is growing up in 4-H and all the leadership opportunities and that sort of thing, and giving demonstrations. And today she actually is in the extension program. She was a 4-H program coordinator for many years, and now is working for the state of Minnesota in extension as the 4-H state horticulture and agronomy person. So it's kind of a fun story to tell, and shows a lot of the things that 4-H can do and teach you as you're growing up. And for a lot of children who are shy and quiet, 4-H is a wonderful program to be able to meet other people and to gain some of those leadership skills and growth.
Things to do in 4-H are showing animals and projects.
We got when I was a kid I had a pet goat, not for 4-H, just a pet goat. And we knew some of the people at the fair that were showing goats, and we were talking to them, and they said, well, after the fair you can get goats. So I thought goats would be a good a good thing for the kids to show, because ordinarily we just had cattle and they weren't here where we live, so they weren't used to working with them. So I thought if they could learn how to show a small animal like a goat, they could transfer what they've learned on a goat to a bigger animal. And so then after they learned they could handle a goat and take care of it, they started with horses and were showing horses, and then moved on to beef cattle also. So they got a chance to learn on a small animal and work into working with the bigger animals. So it was a good project for kids to start with.
So we first got the goats in 1990 when I was 10 years old, and then basically it's blossomed into all the goats that we have here now today. So the goats never left the farm, the goats stayed. So it started with 2 goats, and now it's quite a bit more. And one of the fun things that I've encountered just kind of throughout my life is I'll run into people randomly that will come up to me, and I may not even know who they are, but they'll come up to me and they say, I know who you are. I say, oh, is that right? Well, they said, we showed goats from your mom and dad's place when we were kids growing up. So it's made a huge impact on a lot of other families as well, and kids that have gotten to show goats by leasing or from the Kid for Kid program that we have in our county as well. And now we've got lots of families that are coming back to the fair with their own children, and they're also getting into the goat project. So the leasing program has started many years ago, and it's been continuing on as well. And now we're one of the largest dairy goat projects in the state of Minnesota.
I thought about quitting showing dairy goats, but some of my friends kept me into it. The Johnsons, Franklin, he's a very good friend of mine. Just kind of the friend part of 4-H too, that just kind of helped me stay in it. And to the state fair for it 3 different times now, so it's kind of common thing to keep showing now.
My favorite thing about 4-H is doing demonstrations, and that one of my favorite demonstrations to do was pistachio bread. During COVID there was like a 4-H baking thing, and that's where I got the recipe.
A Zoom baking club.
4-H has been a great program for kids. They get chances to go to the fair and show their projects, but it's not just farm animals anymore. You don't have to have goats or cows or pigs. You can have different things like cooking and
woodworking.
Yeah, there's shop things. There's lots of different projects that have nothing to do with a farm, but have things you would use during your lifetime, and it's a great project, and they can learn leadership, and they can have a lot of fun with the kids that they meet in 4-H.
For me, a lot of what I tell a lot of newer families and people that I'm talking to about 4-H is that there's something for everyone. So my favorite thing with 4-H is that it's for all ages, from kindergarten all the way up through 1 year past high school. And so a really neat thing about it is you've got the older kids that are mentoring the younger kids, and they're always together with them. The older kids are always helping and teaching the younger kids, which is a really neat thing. And the other thing is you can do as much or as little as you want with 4-H. There's so many different opportunities that you can't begin to do all of them. You certainly can, but I know that right now there's a lot of conflicts and things families are busy, sports take up a lot of time, but there's always room for 4-H. So you can find a piece of 4-H that works for you, and it's a great way to be able to meet new friends and teach those leadership skills that you may not always get from some of the other activities that you're involved in. So it's different from being in a sport and some of the other activities that are out there.
A lot of new friends. You can have a lot of experiences like in 4-H exchange. That's really fun. We went to Colorado last year. I made a lot of good memories there. Just stick with it.
Would I tell people that aren't in 4-H that they should join because it's fun and that you can meet new friends?
It made me love animals because we worked with animals all the time, and in 4-H we had the beef and pigs, and I didn't have goats, and learned to work with people. So I guess it's made me love what I do with animals and like working with people on different community things, and because 4-H is a community activity, because the parents are involved, they have to be involved with the kids to make the project work. So then parents work, so then the parents are working together, so it kind of helps build a community, and that's what's important for us, is to keep our community.
For me, growing up on the farm and being involved in 4-H gave me that background in agriculture. So when I went to college, that was one of the things. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do when I graduated from high school, but I ended up going to college and got a degree in agriculture because that's what I knew best and that's what I enjoyed doing. And then also through 4-H, the Farm Credit System and AgStar was a big supporter of 4-H throughout the years, and when I graduated with a degree in agriculture, that's where I reached out to, was to AgStar to find a place of employment, and that's what I'm still doing today. And a big part of that was because of the support that they provided with 4-H, and it's given me that opportunity to be able to also be that club leader and still be as involved with it with my own kids today.
I joined 4-H, I wasn't as talkative, I was a lot more shy, and 4-H just kind of brought me to be a lot more friendly and just learning stuff about people, from people. It also taught me about, it helped me get my current job. I work at a sheep farm, but it helped me kind of with experiences and stuff like that. So it can be really good on a resume.
Everyone at my school now knows me as the one that shows goats. And they all, like all my teachers, expect me to know everything about the farm.
Showing animals.
From a very young age, I had two older brothers that they were in 4-H, and so it really guided my path through that whole thing. And just growing up, we were on a beef farm. We had cattle and cow-calf operation, and my older brother showed cattle, and so it was very important to me to continue on with that whole thing, and 4-H was a big part of that. And it gave us so many opportunities. For me personally, just leadership opportunities and social opportunities. We got together every month with people that shared that same passion, and so that was a lot of fun, and it gave me kind of an opportunity to get together with people that shared that whole thing. And so we showed cattle. It gave me a passion for nutrition for beef cattle and genetics, and through that whole period, it was exciting because I was able to continue on with that, and even through my college career, I focused on that, and nutrition and genetics, and then beyond that, it was something that today my job is still focused on nutrition, so it gave me a lot of opportunity to carry on with that whole tradition, and so I'm very thankful for that.
So it was a monthly thing that we're always involved in, and it was kind of a friendly gathering of the parents, and everybody wanted to do their part and everybody enjoyed it. And it was a great thing for our community in this area, the Big Giants, and the Rice County 4-H in general, because also we're involved at the fair, and the parents have to be involved with getting you there and helping make separate pens, because you didn't have your 4-H calves mixed in with feedlot cattle. You had to have a separate place, so you had to make a place in another building where you could put your stuff. So the parents had to be involved and interested in what the kids
So 4-H gives you an opportunity to be involved at whatever level that you want. And so you can be involved at the club level. And personally, I was involved. You could be a leadership person. You could be a club president or secretary or treasurer, or whatever it might be at a club level. And then there's a county level that you can take that to a further level. And so that provides you with more activities and learningship opportunities. And then even personally, I was involved more at state level too as well. And to put that on a resume for leadership and just that kind of background was invaluable to me, and it helped me with my career all the way through college and professional. So it was a lot of fun, and it gave me an opportunity to just take that forward throughout my whole life. So it was
We are the Rice County Boosters. We are all former Rice County 4-H members, and we met through various activities and events in 4-H.
I think a lot of us have met through various connections through 4-H. A lot of our relationships that that evolved around being friends or friends of family members, but a lot of it all came back to spending time at 4-H and through 4-H projects in a roundabout way. Some of us fell in love and became married.
It was a lot of family time during the summer, training our animals. It was a lot of togetherness for us, and it really brought us close together. And then seeing our accomplishments together as a family at the fair, and it was just very rewarding as far as, you know, togetherness and working hard and being committed to our projects. And it has brought us where we are today. A lot of us have our children in projects as well. And it's reliving our childhood, but seeing our kids enjoy what we lived.
4-H has not only given me confidence, relationships, friendships. 4-H has built who I am through the projects that I have taken. And I am so excited to share it with my kids and show them the hard work that it takes to do a really nice job with showing animals, with taking general projects.
I think there's multiple highlights in my 4-H career. All the state fair trips, super fun, good times, 7 County Camp, you know, being in leadership roles, whether it was at the club level or federation or executive board, and just all the retreats associated with that. And the exchange trips, they were a blast.
I guess my biggest accomplishment was kind of coming out of my shell, thanks to my mom. They call her Ma Ellie. She had 48 years before she passed, and she has taken a number of the kids to the next level. And I finally see myself in her role a lot with helping younger 4-H'ers.
I think a huge accomplishment for all of us would be building the relationships and friendships 30 plus years ago, and after all these years still maintaining them. We get together for sure once a year, if not more. We still do the showcasing of the premier showmanship. We network. I mean, it's a huge accomplishment to carry on the legacy of 4-H when we were young. It's great.
Well, I have a ton of memories of 4-H, and when we talk,
we always laugh about them and they're great. But one of my favorite memories, because I am a competitive person, is when our extension agent, Julie Fox, bought a limo and we went to the Steele County Fair in a limo, the executive club board. Yeah, that is one of my favorite memories. It was cool. They opened the gates for us. We got escorted in. Everyone was like, who's here, you know? And that was kind of cool. It was, because I'm just kind of competitive that way. So yeah, but there's a lot of good memories, a lot.
Greatest memory was our Washington Focus trip. Not only was it a bunch of screwballs that went, but being on the other end of the county, and I showed beef and everybody else pretty much showed dairy. So I didn't know any of the guys I went with, our gals, and we became friends over the years because of that trip. Also, my mom was head of the exchange program, and it was always great to see her corral 30 kids and keep us all organized without losing anybody. So those would be probably my best memories.
One of my favorite memories of the exchange trip was when I had this dude in a gondola in the mountains in Canada, and he hates heights.
Not only did you shake it, you wouldn't stop shaking it. There was a few choice words.
No, the exchange trips were awesome. A great opportunity to see the country and to go to Canada and see a different country. It was just beautiful scenery up there with great company. And it was just a great opportunity that I couldn't have done without being in 4-H.
My advice to younger 4-Hers, or even if they're not in 4-H, is just seize the opportunity and get out of your comfort zone, because that's when you're going to learn the most. That's how we all met. None of us, well, I shouldn't say none of us, we didn't all go to school together. We weren't even in the same 4-H clubs, but we all got to know each other by just doing things. You know, going to camps or leadership roles or being involved in a project and just getting to know each other that way. So that's my advice, just take every opportunity you can and get out of your comfort zone.
And there's so many different 4-H projects that cross over with school events or school programs, trap, robotics, photography, all of that. There's so many things that cross over. You do your school project, your woodworking, whatnot, it's already done for the fair. It's a win-win. And you get to showcase it in more than just school. There's so many correlations with different things that you can do through 4-H that will help build things going further.
I was not a 4-H'er, but I married a 4-H'er and into this group of wonderful people. But my kids have been in 4-H. My daughter in particular really came out of her shell through 4-H. She was a 2-year state ambassador, county ambassador. And I think what she's shared as far as her growth is her ability to communicate with people came through 4-H. Having to sit down with the judge and explain her project and go through things made her come out of like her really shy self. And now she's just all 4-H. She's done internships, she's done all sorts of things, and is looking as a possible career in 4-H when she finishes school next year.
I would say just with the responsibilities that 4-H teaches kids, especially learning how to show animals, meeting friends, all those things can carry on through life. And I think that's just huge for those guys to see that coming up and to realize that these relationships they might build will last forever. And I think that's a really good experience that 4-H is teaching them, and just even at meetings, being officers and things like that, group settings that they aren't going to get necessarily in school. All those things are great accomplishments that they may not realize now, but when they get older, they'll realize that they've learned so much from all that situations.
In our respective fields, we've all become leaders, and I think we've done a better job of being leaders because we were. It taught us skills at a very young age that we probably would not have learned. It's not something you're going to go to college to learn, but these were skills that we learned in 4-H and early on that all of us have used, and like I said, in our respective fields, that have made us better leaders, but also managers as well.
I think a lot of our leadership skills that Pat was talking about also goes into it. You don't have to be in sports. Like oftentimes sports, they develop leaders, they develop the grit, the resilience, you learn how to win, you learn how to lose. 4-H does the same thing. But different avenues, whether it's a general project or whether it's animals or whether it's just you're a club officer. You can learn all of those skills in a small setting, and you don't have to be on a competitive team to learn those skills through 4-H.
I just look at all the camps that are provided right now through 4-H that I don't have experience with, and I ask my kids and push them to do things, but just seeing the confidence in the kids that go to camp, go to different workshops, is just amazing to me when they come back to the 4-H meetings and want to talk about it. So I think that's a great opportunity that 4-H offers.
Being a past 4-H member, it's a good way to have an icebreaker at a meeting or at a conference. If you talk about your past 4-H experiences, it snowballs, and everybody's talking about their camps, their exchanges, their projects, their successes, their failures. It's a way to learn about other people and use your experiences to grow.
I think the biggest takeaway is that you will form lifelong friends. And now you guys are going to get me really emotional, but I mean, we are lifelong friends who have been through the highs and the lows and will continue to be there for each of us. And we all know we're just a text or a phone call away, and we would not all be together if we weren't in the Rice County 4-H program. Yep.
I guess I found that out in my personal life. I turned to these guys when I had an illness, and they all stood by my side. And I feel that was pretty special.
But also, we're there for the bad times, but the good times. So many of us were in each other's weddings. You know, that's the happy times, and our kids are close age, and the births, and visiting them, and all of those good times as well. But with the good times, there are things that, you know, we have to be there for the bad times as well, or the tough times, so.
One of the memories I have of Bill Sherrick is seeing him being dragged by his beef all the way down past the dairy barn, past the swine barn, past the goat barn, and he did not let go.
He never let go of the rope.
It was rabbit show evening. I showed rabbits and horses for livestock, and my mom said I had probably a half an hour to an hour before I was supposed to show. I went on the swings out here with my friend, and they had the ride going multiple rounds. To this day, I cannot do circle rides because I walked into the show pen green and I puked right in my And my senior doe got champion overall of that show, and I took her to State Fair, and I was reserve overall at the rabbit show at the Minnesota State.
Another thing that I think is really neat in 4-H is just how the older kids will take the younger kids under the wing. And my example of that is my sister had her appendix out during the fair when she was in 7th grade, and I was in 6th grade, and I remember my mom saying, "I'll drop you off, you can milk the cow." And it was like at 5:30 in the morning, no one's here, and I cannot get the combination to our box open. And I was like almost panicking, crying. And then Mike Wetzel, who is probably 6 years older than me, came by and he's like, "Heather, can I help you?" And I'm like, "Yes, I can get this open." And he did the combination, got it open, and I was all mad at myself. But then I was able to milk Candy's cow.
So I want to add to that story a little bit because my older brother had to show my cow that year, and I got a state fair trip, and I was grand champion Brown Swiss that year at the Minnesota State Fair. So thank goodness she milked the cow and it lived.
Nice. I really enjoyed 4-H's working with the kids, not only my own children on their projects, but seeing the other children with their projects, helping them out, the little things. But the time we spend together with the kids doing their projects, you don't get that back if you let it go. So it's time well spent.
Well, 4-H was a real fun thing to do as a youngster. You got a lot of friends that way that you didn't get visiting with or seeing very often, and especially back when I was growing up. We were all kind of spread out around the area. So you got to meet all your friends and ones you went to school with and worked with and played with and got along good sometimes not, but it all worked out in the long run. Everybody got along great, so we all had a good time. We had fun getting projects ready and competing against each other. And remember building a trophy case for the old township town hall, so we had a spot to put the trophies in for the club. And Ken Vessedal and I built that together and did that as a project. And I don't know if it's still down there. I think it is, and still in the town hall today. So that's something that continues on forever, it seems to be. So we had a lot of experiences state fair wise and stuff. I had I don't know how many trips to the state fair, quite a few, and different projects too. They weren't all on one area. I had shop and I had electricity up there. And I had a pig up there, had a gilt there, had a steer up there one year. One year was a dairy heifer, so I had a variety of stuff at the state fair, along with being in 4-H. I got to share with the farm boys camp at state fair and helped usher in the grandstand and Coliseum. So that was a fun time to do that. I did that 3 years, the last 3 years I was in 4-H, so that's
And who was the biggest star that you ushered in?
well, we had Dolly Parton there one night. I got to be the host from her trailer to the stage for both shows, the afternoon show and the evening show. Well, in 4-H, I met my future wife and a few other gals at that time, so we eventually settled down with one. We got married after I came back from the Army, and then started raising the family and got all the kids involved in 4-H because the wife was 4-H member for years too. So we have all been into 4-H virtually our whole life. So it carries on from generation to generation here. And my dad was in 4-H and FFA, and my mom was FFA, or not FFA, she was 4-H. So it's been going on for 4 generations at least, and maybe the 5th one coming there. So we'll have to see where it all ends up.
4-H in the beginning was helped the younger kids blossom, because I was a pretty shy little kid, didn't talk to a whole lot of people, and through 4-H and doing projects and demonstrations gave me some confidence to get in front of a group and speak and carry on and help in leadership roles within the community, and it worked too. Just learning how to conduct like a business meeting too helped a lot in aspects of life. And then got older and did some judging team stuff, did Poultry Bowl, and then now I'm still on the state poultry committee, like we all are. And I do a lot with that. I do the judging contest for the state fair and help with the show for poultry. In the past I've done judging at national level, taking teams there. And then my kids all showed livestock and general projects, and we still have a lot of their projects that they did still around home that we use every day. So just kind of building memories and building lasting things that we all benefit from.
I guess just the impact of our family. Like, I grew up at the fair. I had my very first birthday right around fair time, and it's been my entire life. We grew up in the state 4-H poultry office, and I've just continued to be there every summer, and being able to be there with our family and continuing to be involved beyond 4-H now. still being at the fair every year and helping out in other aspects. And one of the really cool things about our family is that for now 47 continuous years, we've had someone showing livestock at the fair, and the hope is with the next generation for that to continue on for many more years. And just all the different things that have happened for our family at the fair, and getting to go beyond that with all of our friendships and things that we've made through 4-H has really had a lasting impact on not just our summers, but our year-long participation in many different things.
My advice for the younger generation, whether you're in 4-H or not, is to truly embrace it. You only get one shot at this, and especially in 4-H, take all the chances you have, do the exchange, do other programs, show at the fair, enter in as many projects as you can. You only get so many years to do it. My advice for the younger generation, whether you're in 4-H or not, is to truly embrace it. You only get one shot at this, and especially in 4-H, take all the chances you have, do the exchange, do other programs, show at the fair, enter in as many projects as you can. You only get so many years to do it.
Just get involved and give it a shot. Put some hours into it and give it a chance for a year and see what you think.
Try all the things.
Yes, try all the things. I think the kids will surprise you. It's a little intimidating going into the leadership role with all the kids in the club and stuff, but I think they'll surprise you, and it's a very satisfying thing to help the kids learn and grow.
4-H Exchange Club leader?
Probably leading our 4-H club for quite a few years.
Just helping getting the kids the stuff done when they need it, to get it done. The projects we're fun to help with.
I'd say probably the poultry judging contest at the state fair.
Taking our outstate exchange kids to the link 3 or 4 states. We had a blast doing that.
Just helping the kids get ready and watching them succeed in the show ring.
Probably my champion ribbon photography at State Fair.
I think mine would probably be just helping at the county level, being in that leadership position.
I'd have to say doing different life experiences.
For a couple years in a row, I was the reigning champion for poultry showmanship, so that was my highlight. I feel like when you're in 4-H, one thing you always dread is aging out, but I feel like even when you age out, it continues to stay with you. So I was always sad about not being able to continue to show rabbits, but now even though I aged out, I'm still showing rabbits in open class shows. So I feel like that's kind of my take.
Through 4-H and the many different opportunities to work with youth as I got older, it inspired me to go into a career of teaching and work with children throughout the whole rest of my life.
The impact that 4-H has had in my life, or that has shaped me, is with my business, with Windy Willow. It gave me a bunch of ideas on the games and the displays outside, from making posters and stuff in 4-H that helped us learn what a good educational display looks like. It also has taught us what the youth like to do, so our recreational pieces out there are based on things that I learned in 4-H.
One way 4-H has had a lasting impact on me is with our agritourism business, Windy Willow, truly shaping all aspects from the front of the house, being able to present yourself to the public and people walking into our field trips, and being able to teach younger youth about agriculture and just all sorts of different aspects, from livestock demonstrations, and then to my mom said, things outside, helping with camp and being an older youth leader for the younger 4-H members, seeing what they truly like and being able to bring people back to the farm, or, tie it all together.
Yeah, I think the whole thing of the family growing up in 4-H and being with 4-H in your whole life makes the family a tighter and more enjoyable bunch to be around some days than it would be otherwise, because I've seen so many families fall apart and not stay together and be that kind of a tight-knit family like we have been over the years because of 4-H. Because we all rely on each other to do something, or if we're gonna go someplace, everybody's got their part to do, and it all comes off to be a good project.
I love 4-H.
I'm Artis Liebenstein, a long-time 4-H member, and I guess I've outlived everyone else.
Where did you grow up that you were in 4-H, and what club?
3 miles over, Big Star 4-H Club. 11 years, and I joined the Peace Corps, the AFI program. Then I came back, went to St. Olaf, and then I got married.
To a county agent. So that she could continue her 4-H career as a leader.
We really had records. We had to keep track of everything, and we couldn't get by with one thing we made. It was several, and my first project was sewing and home improvement or home assistance. That was setting the table. Thing we made. It was several, and my first project was sewing and home improvement or home assistance. That was setting the table. And then I went on from there until you guys came along.
So, who taught you to sew?
My mom. And I taught you.
Yes. And then you took sewing to the power level of upholstery. She did a lot of upholstery.
Yeah.
With
everything in here.
With Dad, he could rebuild the frames of the furniture so they changed the shape, and then she would recover. So. That wasn't in 4-H though, was it? Did they do upholstery there?
No, that was extension. Is there a separation? Extension and 4-H.
So my name is Ann Liebenstein Bass, and I am Artis's daughter. I'm one of 4. So I had a wonderful older brother by the name of John. And John is sort of famous in the county for a very sad reason, in that he was a deputy sheriff and who was killed in the line of action. But he raised the family that you're going to see interviews with later, and that is now down to 4th generation of 4-H. So then I have a brother, Paul, and he's a dairy farmer, lives also just like 3 miles away, but he sold his cows this last year, very difficult year. You know, that was always kind of funny because my dad and my mom and dad raised sheep and chickens. This was our thing, you know, cooperative extension, they don't have a lot of time to be like full-time farmers, and so Mom had 350 chickens. We sold eggs, had a little sign down on the corner. John and I spent a lot of our young lives down there. Also strawberries, apples, you know, everything that Mom grew in the garden got put up on a little wire stool with a Massey Ferguson umbrella over the top, and we'd run out on the road with this sign that said eggs or strawberries or whatever, and the people would stop, and she trusted us to make change. It was pretty, yes, we were in retail long before we ever did. And then I had a sister, Joan, and Joan was an RN and in Winona, and she brought up the rear, but in 4-H, and Joan was an ardent baker. So I didn't tell a story on Joan in that. So Joan was 6 years, good 6 years younger than me. So Mom and I, she was getting to the age where she was starting to take interest in the kitchen. And so Mom and I had a chat, doing dishes. That's when we had chats. And we thought, well, So Joan's, getting it, and we both like to bake. We like to bake a lot. And so we were a little worried that Joan was also going to like to bake. So we tried really hard to steer Joan, Mom had to do this mostly, steer Joan towards cooking. This would be a good thing. So Mom, somehow got Joan to the point. So she made supper, very proud, supper one night, spaghetti with meat sauce. And the entire kitchen, every pan Mom owned was dirty. Stuff on the, tomato sauce on the walls, the whole thing. And then, at the end of it, she had the audacity to say, well, I made the supper so you can clean up. We just looked at each other like, what have we done wrong? What have we done wrong? But anyway, Joan too has passed, so it's just Paul and I in the middle. But they did a lot more with animals. Actually, all three of them, I kind of did the mom route of the sewing and baking and home improvement, and I even did sort of a couple shop projects and that kind of thing, more so. I did get to help with, I always thought they were topiary sheep, that's when you block them to make them look meatier, if you remember that. But see, my professional degree is landscape architecture, and so I thought they were putting them up on that stand and they were making topiaries out of them. So anyway, that was a fun time. But Joan and would get into the stock tank and wash those sheep. It was kind of a riot. John and I got to go on a lot of house calls with my dad, where he'd drive around to the farmers and do his cooperative extension thing, and we got to know all the wild dogs in the county, I think, as they would jump up and try to see who was still in the truck. But yeah, it was those farm tours we were talking about earlier that were so much fun, and the whole family would go on those to all the farms all across the county, whatever club was hosting it. So it was great. We got to see everybody else's projects and hear how much they knew about their animals, and look at these gorgeous, incredibly gorgeous gardens that they had worked so hard. Their mom was out there with the wooden spoon saying, I still spoon.
On the other hand, I remember going to this one farm, and this little kid went out into the garden, and Ward says, well, where is your garden? He said, I'm standing in it.
Yeah, it was great. It was amazing. But then we'd also try to do little tips about how to turn. All these things that I never really learned all that well, but how to really model that outfit, which was a board teacher. So no matter what it is, she has a way of explaining things or thinking up exercises to make it easy to come up with to the skill level needed to be able to do.
Yes, probably those first years we made them out of gunny sacks, flour sacks, and then, the big thing was one year we put zippers in, another year collars, so forth. Some of them had very good mothers who taught them. The Drinkers and the Moluccas, and we really had the competition.
Within the club even, yeah.
Oh, let's see. I had my 11 years of 4-H, and then I had my trip. But then I went right into extension and carried on there. So then it's been 2 years, COVID stopped my helping, the sewing. Well, I would like to say that they should start early and stick with the project and not quit after a year or two. But because the real benefits come when they're older. And then who knows where to lead them. I think it influenced my whole life because on my trip I was never been out of Minnesota. I didn't tell them. But I did that on my first train ride to Chicago alone. And then the next one to Washington, D.C. I've never been there. We took a boat to Liverpool, and then we came home on the ship. So, but then I met all these different people, and I think that led me to volunteering, which I've done the last 11 years.
Longer than that. Talk about public speaking.
Oh, two things which they wish they would not have discontinued is public speaking. And I had to talk them into it. And then demonstrations. And one girl got up and, my name is, and her mother was going to go, and I said, no, just wait. She straightened up and she gave a demonstration the next year.
At the fair?
Yeah, but first the county and then. But those, I think, are what the carryovers are. I had bread was a whole day. Everybody came and made bread there.
Yeah. You made it at the fair? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
The pressure. Yeah.
Yeah, the judge would come and flip them.
Huh.
Helen Bondi was the winner.
Okay.
Quite logical. And once in a while I beat her. But, yeah, I don't know what other. Oh, the achievement banquets.
Oh, yeah.
And the rally day. They were all of.
And the junior leaders and their
What was rally day?
Right.
So we got together, now, if I'm correct, that was when the clubs presented their skits.
Yes, like, well, several of the neighborhood women would do the, was it the hog calling, or was it the husband calling contest?
Yeah, I kind of remember.
And then I remember my brother liked to do the bubble blowing. They had that great bubble gum, and they would do that big bubble blowing contest. And they would just, oh, it was so much fun.
You know, you don't realize how something influences you until you look back.
I'm Jill Liebenstein-Kuntz, grandma, artist. So I am third generation 4-H. My dad is John. And then these three are my children, Maggie, Cohen, and Luke. Maggie and Cohen are in Philippet 4-H now. And then my husband, Rick, he was also a 4-H'er growing up. And then this is my cousin, Grace.
I'm Grace Liebenstein Martin, and my dad is Paul, so he would have been second generation 4-H'er. I'm third, and this is Nicholas, and he will be a fourth generation 4-H'er.
I think being in 4-H was kind of a given, like we were just put in it, and we were put in it from the very beginning, like the youngest you could be when you start, and we had our project areas and baking, sewing. I eventually got into like sheep and dairy, thanks to Grace here, when I was a little bit older, but otherwise I did mostly generals when I was really young. And then as we got older, Grace and I and our siblings started working together on projects like the dairy project, so we spent our summers really close working with each other and walking cows and whatnot. So yeah, it was definitely a family affair.
My mom, Barb, was our club leader, so I think that we kind of got roped into all sorts of stuff too, because if they needed an extra person for something, we got volunteered, which
I loved being in 4-H. I had a lot of great friends in there and made a lot of great memories going to the state fair and doing ambassador projects and everything in the county. And then I was also a state ambassador and did a couple trips to Washington, D.C., like CWF and the National 4-H Conference and stuff that if I wasn't in 4-H, I would never have got to do. So,
can definitely say like a lot of opportunities and growth personally happened through 4-H, and at the push of our families, they encourage us to be really involved. Like we were both officers and both club level, county level, and it taught us a lot about hard work ethic and standing up for what you believe and speaking up and things like that, which is really important.
I showed animals that we'd lease from my uncle, his dairy farm when I was young. Always had a lot of shop projects and other general projects that some we still use today in our house. So things that can make and do that last a lifetime. But always spent a lot of time at the fair, the whole week at the fair, in the dairy barn or the sheep barn, and made a lot of friends that I'm still friends with today. And state fair trips are always fun, and got to meet a lot of new people and people from different counties then, and experience different things and learn how to show animals. And it was just a really great learning experience that be able to keep for the rest of our lives, and hopefully we can pass it down to our children and they can experience all that great stuff also. So
I can honestly say I don't know that Rick and I would have met if it hadn't been for 4-H.
No, probably not. So. Yeah. Met through friends that were also at 4-H.
Bringing a duck and a general project with it, which is like kind of like a backpack that me and my dad made today.
Mm-hmm. Did you design it yourself?
Yeah.
And what is your backpack made out of?
It's like old chicken feed bags.
So what are you doing for it?
What are some things you've learned?
You can learn a lot of things from just showing animals and stuff.
Mm-hmm. How about at the meetings? Do you learn anything at the meetings?
Yeah, we learn
about different projects.
Oh yeah.
Other people will talk about their projects that they take, and about quiz bowls and stuff like that. That there are other opportunities to learn about.
And how about sharing your knowledge? Do you share your knowledge with the other kids when they ask you about your projects? Yeah.
What are you going?
What are you taking for projects?
A duck and a dumbbell rack.
What's a dumbbell rack?
You put weights on it. That's what it is.
And what did you make it out of?
Wood.
Wood.
It's fun. You get to meet new people. You learn things that you probably wouldn't have learned otherwise.
And there's the week of the fair, of course, the best part.
Mm-hmm. Cheese curds. Molten cheese curds.
I'm just very thankful that we had the opportunity to be in 4-H and that it was so instilled in our family. There's just things that you learn and experience that you wouldn't get anywhere else. And we get to pass that on to our kids.
Happy 100th anniversary, County 4-H.